Another person in the waiting room.
Hi everyone, can I see your face, your beautiful and handsome face? Can you turn on your video at least for the first 5 seconds so I know who I'm talking to? Great, that's good guys. How's everyone? Have you had your lunch? Anyone want to unmute yourself?
We haven't had our lunch yet.
No, already
Had
have.
your lunch yet?
No.
Have not eaten yet. No.
Oh no, okay. I wanted to start at 12 so that you guys don't have your lunch, so you don't feel full and you won't fall asleep. So that's the concept, right? Because you're always, after food, you always have food coma and you feel sleepy and then you just doze off. Okay. Okay, guys.
Is anybody else in the waiting
Are we
room?
still waiting for more people?
We can start shortly. Let me just check if anyone's in the waiting room so I don't have to.
Anyone want to
Okay, lah, I think we can start. So I will just intro a bit lah, huh? Okay.
Go
So,
ahead.
hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this webinar featuring our Associate Adjunct Professor, Miss Eileen Khor from ADA. Clap hands, applause, everybody. So she's here to deliver a webinar / workshop on data and the role of data in creative content planning, essentially. Okay, a bit of base rules first. If you can have your camera on so that the speaker can see you, that's always very helpful. If you have questions, you can type it in the chat. Eileen, would you prefer that they ask during, or you want them to keep their questions for the end?
You can type your questions in a chat group so that we don't miss anyone, and as in when you have any questions, you can just pop it there and then we can take your questions either before the breakouts or towards the end. Okay, or if not, if on the slides where you need like immediate answers, can just raise your hand. We have the function there, right? So just raise your hand and then I can be notified that you have an urgent question that you want me to address. Cool.
Right, so I think that's the basic stuff. We will be having a bit of a discussion later in breakout rooms, so be prepared for that. I guess, let me let in somebody else. Okay, so with that, I think we will just get straight to it. Eileen, over to you. You can start.
Okay. I will share my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
Yep, I see your screen.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Hi, my name is Eileen. I'm Head of Creative Innovation in ADA. So today I'm going to talk to you about what technology in advertising is, right? Advertising used to be, it has existed for so long and has evolved over time. And what's happening today is, of course, data becomes very critical. AI becomes something that every agency wants to adopt, or every client will want to adopt some sort of an AI, artificial intelligence, into their system, or when they do digital transformation within the organization. So how, as an agency, how can we help them? Why is it helpful for advertising as well to adopt that as well? And what is creative automation? So today I'm going to address all this just to give you a little bit of insights into what are we doing in ADA, as well as to where the industry is heading as well. So you have mentally prepare yourself when you join the advertising industry. Okay, so a little bit background about myself. I graduated with a comm science, then a degree, and then I went on to intern in a factory, I would call it, in a semiconductor company. So I wasn't really happy then, right? Like, I always know that my calling is always in the creative industry, and hence then I applied and got scholarship to join Lim Kok Wing to do a creative multimedia degree. And that time I know that was what I wanted, and I always wanted to join advertising. But when my first job after I graduated, I had two offers. One was to join Endemol, which is an Astro JV with a TV production, a world-renowned TV production, right? So, and I told myself that I don't want to do TV production, but because they came knocking on my door and said, hey, we want you, you're gonna work with a award-winning BBC creative director, working on local formats and all that. I was like, okay, you know what? I couldn't give up that opportunity. Although I wanted to be in advertising, I said, having the opportunity to work with a award-winning creative director was so tempting. So I joined Endemol, and I had the opportunity to work a few formats for Astro Malaysia. As you can see at the top there, it's a money drop, brought back Fear Factor to Malaysia. We have the Serasi Bersama as well as Dream Makers in Philippines as well. So it was across a region as well that I get to work across some different markets. And then after about 2 years, I've decided that, hey, I've learned enough. Now it's time for me to go back to where I think my true north is, which is in advertising. So that time I also have an option to choose to join a traditional agency or to join a small setup where they focus more solely on digital. So I've decided to join the digital agency because there was the rise of digital adoption, and that was the time when social media was also upcoming. The trend is coming to the Asia. That was, I think, around 2010, about 10 years or 11 years ago. So that is how I joined Loki Media. And when I was in a small agency, right, you will ask yourself like, hey, why would you want to join a small agency? But for me, it's also a very good opportunity. It's because you get to wear multiple hats. And even though no matter which agency you join or which company you join, I think it's very good to have the growth mindset. Don't just sign up for the job that you are being given to, right? I joined I accepted the role as a creative designer when I joined the agency. But then I didn't stop myself from just learning that one role. I signed up, I hands up, and I told my boss, like, hey, can I try account servicing? Can I try project management? Can I try to deal with different stakeholders within the whole account? So that's how I learned the trades. And without you knowing it, without me knowing it myself, I was offered a job as a creative director or a head of creative services to kickstart to kickstart the whole creative agency in ADA. And ADA at that time was a media agency, and it was under Axiata Group. So I have the client who wanted to start a division within the company, and they approached me. So that's how it shows that every time you put effort to have a growth mindset, it can bring you to somewhere else. So don't stop yourself from dreaming, and don't stop at just doing that one job that you sign up for. Try to expand your portfolio and try to volunteer for projects or for roles that you think you can do, but don't accept everything until you drown yourself. So you have to be very clear in that. Okay, so over the years, you can see here there are some awards here that I have won, and some of the brands that I work with. So okay, that's all about myself. So today I'm going to talk to you about what is data insights and creative process, right? How is it different in the current agency world, and what's the future like in advertising, right? So when I first joined ADA, before I joined ADA, of course, there's this whole agency that's going around, right? You have the research agency like Kantar, who focus just solely on consumer insights, right? They do your brand surveys, they go and knock on people's door and ask questions, or they stop you on the roadside and ask you questions about, hey, have you heard about so and so? Have you heard about this brand? What do you think? And all that, all the surveys that you've done on ground, right? That is the typical research agency, that they go on ground, they do the workshops, or they do a closed group survey discussion, and then they come back with the results of their findings, right? Then there's the creative agency, right, where they focus mainly on the creative work. If you heard of like the Leo Burnett's of the world, the Ogilvy's, they do all the creative stuff, which is above the line and below the line as well. So above the line can be things like you see on TV, newspapers, because back then TV and newspapers is like the medium that can bring that can tell people or to show people about your brand, or like what you do, what's your new product and things like that. So they call it above the line, is because that is where the big money is, right? Where brands spend a lot of money, like TV ads is calculated by seconds, and also when you put the ads online on TV. So if let's say it's in the morning or it's a peak hours, then it will be more expensive. Or on newspaper, depending on which page that you buy. For example, if you're buying the front page or the cover, that also the pricing will also be different, right? So those were the days when TV and newspaper is still the top media. Then you have the digital agency, when the whole digital and social media starts to pop up. I think with around 2010, around that time, and people are adopting more, people are getting more digital savvy, right? Like all of us starts to have our own phones, we start to have our own iPads, and we start to have our own social channels and all that. So that is when the start of the whole digital era. And that time you have an agency that solely focus on just digital comms or digital execution. So the ideas or the research can come from a research agency, the survey on the people. Then it goes to a creative agency who come up with a big idea, and then it will go to the digital agency to put it on their social channels, like coming up with the content and the media on terms of how to do the ads online. Then you have the media agency who are solely dedicated in just media buying, right? So creative agency come up with the big idea, digital agency come up with the creatives, the content, and media agency will boost it. So for a client, they have to go to 4 different agencies, right? So this is how the traditional media has been set up, right? So where we are right now, or where I would say a more advanced setup of an agency, is where we want to be able to do all 3 things, right? You want to be able to be doing the business insights or the data collection of who your target audience is. And at the same time, you want to be doing the creative work as well as the digital and content planning as well. Then there's also the media part, because then the media is where you help to see whether, or optimize to see, hey, if my ads is not working, how do I then continuously optimize it? So clients no longer want to have meeting with 4 different agencies. They will also want to have that one sole agency to go to sort of like, find out, like, to sort of optimize the time as well. Like instead of me briefing 4 agencies, now I just have one agency that I can work solely and partner with to drive my business goals. Okay, so in ADA as well, when we first started, we put a lot of this into thoughts of how a client would want to approach their challenges as well when it comes to the agency business, right? So that's how we came up, and then we also have identified what we want to do, and of course that also means looking into tools that can help us to get a lot of data insights. So from a business perspective, when I craft my business goals, right? For example, if I am in quick service restaurant, right? Like a KFC, McDonald's. What is my business goals? Sell more burgers, sell more chicken, sell more sundae ice creams, right? So, but the thing is, then you said that, okay, that is my business goals, to achieve more sales, right? But the thing is, how do I want to position my brand? Like, what is my brand story? How do I convince someone who is a vegan to take sundae ice cream? Something like that, like how to change that mindset. Or someone who is always eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? KFC. How do you change them to switch them over to eat the what is that called? The McDonald's spicy chicken, right? So so you need to know what's happening or what people are talking about, and hence on the digital space, especially in this era, all of us go online and rant. All of us go online and share something, or influencers go online and post something, and everyone start to engage with it, right? So that's when you really need tools like social listening tools or social and video analytics tools that can help you to study the video performance. Google Trends search to look at, instead of me looking for burgers, what other things that people would look for. Or if you have an app, for example, you have an e-commerce where now everyone's developing their own e-commerce website and an app as well. So you need those analytics as well to tell you what are the data, what are the things that I can see, or where's the drop-off rates that people are not buying. So that's how you get the whole data insights. I will dive into each of these tools later on as well to tell you like what is it, like what kind of tools there is out there. Okay. Then of course, when it comes to bridging the creative to the media in terms of getting the ads up, or ensuring that the ads is performing or talking to the consumers, as well as increasing the purchasing or the sales and all that. That is where the bridge comes in, where you will need the artificial intelligence, creative automation to do your dynamic creative optimization. So sometimes we humans are not, we tell we are not gods, right? But if we have data, we can get the machine to tell us, hey, if I do an ad with this copy, it would probably work better. Or you can ask the tool to tell me that, hey, if I have these two ads, which one will perform better? So it sort of like able to give you a gauge of the results of the performance that you can achieve at the end of the campaign. So instead of trying to convincing your client and say that, hey, buy my idea, now you actually have data as well as a computer or AI to sort of predict the results for you. So that's how the tools and the technology comes into play. Okay. Any questions so far? Anyone have any questions? You can raise your hand. If not, I'm just going to move on to show the tools. Anyone? No? All right. Cool. No questions. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to move to social listening. How many of you have heard of social listening? If it's not from my previous recording, have any one of you heard of it before? Yes? No? Come on, guys. Unmute yourself so I know that I'm talking to you guys.
Only from the previous recording.
Yeah, only from the previous recording.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chelsea. And who else? Was it Audrey? Yeah. Thank you for unmuting yourself and answering my questions. So yes, so social listening is basically a tool that can help you to sort of like scan the social space on the digital, in the digital world. So you can track, you can listen to the, let's say, brand mentions, identifying related keywords to the brand. Where is this happening? Where is this conversations happening? What's the share of voice between myself and my competitors? If I have a campaign on, how do I monitor? Basically, it's able to track conversations online. Okay, so I'm just going to skip to the next slide first. I'll come back to this later on, right? So it's to say that, okay, this is how a social listening tools would work. So for example, I am McDonald's, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in keywords like McDonald's without the apostrophe S, or in Malaysia, we do have MACD or MACD, all these possible keywords that how people pronounce McDonald's, and also the hashtags and some of the products like McCafe or McDelivery or Happy Meal, Big Mac that McDonald's is well known of, right? So that is how we track the McDonald's or the mentions of McDonald's. And this is a tool that we use to sort of like monitor the results, right? So you can see here, right? Okay, I'm just going to look at 30 days back. We can switch between 3 months to 30 days. So within 30 days, I can see across the digital space, I get about 12,000 of results. People are heavily talking about me for the past 30 days. And you can see there's a spike here on the 16th to 17th of September. So then as a brand, you may want to know why, like what happened here, what's this spike, so that you can understand a bit more of what people are talking about, yourself, about the brand. So you can see here, click into it, and you'll be able to then see all this results, that are in, like, people are talking about deliveries, people are talking about, besides McDonald's, what else? Yeah, they're talking about this McFlurry, right? So you get to know a little bit more about what is happening out there, who is talking about McDonald's, and what are their sentiments around it, right? So let me look at, let's say, the most engaging, this Eat, Pray, Love. Hold on, let me check. Okay, so I have let's say I have, hold on, let me look for one. Okay, Cherry Scoops, talking about McFlurry. So I want to look at how viral this post went. I can also click on the virality map to look at the how this post has retweets, who has retweeted this, and how the conversations has happened as well. So you can see these are the people, like on this bubble here, from this bunny, under bunny, there's also other people who have shared these tweets as well. So you get to see clusters of conversations. And then when I say, hey, if I want to identify an influencer, who should I go to? I should go to Bunny, or I should go to Cherry Scoops and Bunny, because both of them has quite quite a good influence within their followers, or their audience following their channels, right? So this is how, as a brand, you can plan as well. Or if let's say, for example, if you have a crisis that's ongoing, like Food Panda, for example, the current conversations happening about their video not having any Indian actors or actresses in it, because it is a Bollywood thing. So if you want to monitor those conversations or what people are talking about, of course, you can then use this social listening to monitor that, because it's not just on your own channel, you're looking at across the media, across the digital space as well. So then you can move on to like media types, right? Here is where you show the speed of the conversations that are happening. So you can see a lot of it coming from Twitter. Why is it from Twitter? It's also because Twitter has a very good open API. All the tweets are publicly available, not like on Facebook, because all of us, with all those recent news about Facebook, suddenly all of us are very careful with what we share. And a lot of people actually sort of adjusted their privacy settings as well, as to who can see what on their channels. Hence, there may be a drop in terms of the results as well. So, but we cannot discount Facebook as well. But I will tell you why we cannot discount Facebook or Instagram. So then you'll see these speeds in terms of where all these conversations are happening. And one good thing about these tools is also that it has a little bit of AI implemented into it as well. It's able to track or categorize some of the keywords like angry, sad into a negative sentiment. And then they are able to put into like the happy words like happy, love it, that kind of keywords, positive keywords, into the positive sentiments. So that's how the AI works back. Like, I don't have to do anything. I just populate the topics, and the whole AI that is behind this top of the platforms will automatically categorize all this for me as well, right? So again, machines are just machines. They will still need human interventions to make the machine smarter. So hence, human is always smarter than the machine, right? So we can always train the machine as well. Like, how do I train the machine to be smarter? So for example, if I feel that this post is positive, is negative, right? So what I can do is, of course, I can manually adjust it. And that is how you train the system to be more efficient, or to be cleverer, next time when they detect certain keywords within the post, to then able to categorize them into the correct sentiments. Okay, so why this is important is also because it allows you to do competitive analysis, right? Not just knowing what's going out there or what are people talking about you, but it allows you to also analyze from a brand perspective is to analyze what are your competitors doing? What are people talking about your competitors, right? What are the products that people resonates with from your competitors? So you actually get to benchmark as well where you also want to position your brand, right? If I'm selling what is that? Ayam goreng McD and KFC is selling chicken, how do I want to dominate that category? How do I want to sell fried chicken when KFC is already well known for it for decades, right? So that is how you can set up, put into like do a comparison of KFC, where the brand stands, like what kind of results are they getting, who is getting more share of voice, understand where the media types are coming, understand where the sentiments. So I can look at the sentiment here. Then I can do a comparison between these two topics and can see MACD have more results, but that doesn't mean that's positive because they actually have more negative results of it as well, the negative sentiments. So if I want to know more what's this negative, I can click on it, and that's how I would address if there's any crisis, for example, and that's how you get to go to that one particular, let's say, for example, this, not safe for work, so I'm not going to click that. And you can click on this, and then you can see the Twitter post. Okay, that's how you get to know a little bit more about the conversations that are happening and how you compete with your competitors. Or you can also learn to look at the themes or the keywords that are emerging in your category as well, like what is happening, what's trending right now for the last 7 days or 24 hours. So you can see these are some of the emerging themes as well, like Ayam McD is decreasing. So as a brand, do I want to create a content to address this Ayam McD so that, Ayam KFC, okay, Ayam KFC is trending, but then it is decreasing, but it's by 51%. But my Ayam McD is decreasing by 65%, meaning that I need to boost this up. So then I may want to create more content about Ayam McD so that, whenever people are browsing on Twitter or on Instagram or on Facebook, there are people, someone out there, their friends, their connections are talking about Ayam McD. So that's how you get your brand to be the top of mind, like, and awareness that, hey, I want to eat fried chicken, so why not I ordered Ayam McD instead of KFC, right? I may want to try that. So that's how this kind of keywords or themes allow you to play around as well to understand a bit more of what's happening in the category between your brand and your competitor's brand. Okay, so I can change this around as well. So for example, I would look at McDonald's itself to understand a bit more on what are the top keywords. Let's see. So here, if I just choose McDonald's, I can also see keywords of what links to McDonald's. You can see here, Happy Meal. Clearly, everyone knows McDonald's is Happy Meals. Chicken McDeluxe, spicy chicken, ayam goreng, and that's also Pizza Hut. So why is Pizza Hut, suddenly appear in the McDonald's conversation? Maybe McDonald's will want to explore a special pizza menu. Things like that will help the brand as well. Like, if you want to create a buzz, you want to create a limited edition campaign, to get more people to be aware of McDonald's. That's how you tap into all these findings to help the brand to create more visibility and buzz as well on your online space. Cool. Any questions? No? Yes? No? Okay, I'm just gonna move on. So besides, that's how this competitive analysis will work. You'll have the insights of how you're comparing to your competitors, sentiments, keywords, emerging themes, decreasing themes, how you can create your content out of what is emerging, like how to tap into relevant trends that are happening, as well as tap into how do you create visibility by also tapping into decreasing themes. If that's your campaign and there's a decrease, you may also want to boost that up, right? Then what are the new emerging themes or the new themes that may be relevant that the system is foreseeing that it will happen or it will trend in the next couple of days. So then you also get a little bit of the audience demographics on the bottom left here, you can see. So let me move on to Talkwalker, to audience setup. Okay, so this is just a preview or a summary of people who are talking about the brand, right? So you can see female talked about McDonald's more than males. And your age group is definitely the one who is talking more about McDonald's versus people within the 35 to 44. Yeah, I guess people my age will not be eating McDonald's so much, right? So, you can then say that, okay, when I plan my content, who do I want to target? Of course, I want to target 18 to 24 because they are talking about my brand and they would be probably consuming the product more. So this will be my target market. That's how I say, okay, I will be targeting, there's a pair of female and male, so I don't have to split my content between female focus or male focus, right? But I can look into the age group. So if I want to target at 18 and 24, where are they right now? Where are they consuming the content most of the time? Anyone want to tell me? I think this is your age group, right? Come on, unmute yourself. Where are you consuming your content on a daily basis?
Social media.
Yeah. Where? Which channel?
Instagram,
Facebook,
TikTok,
Twitter.
Cool. Thank you, Esther. So easy. TikTok, Instagram. So if I'm McDonald's, where would I want to create my content? TikTok, right? I will create a TikTok challenge. I would create a Instagram filters. I would do more reels. I would do more, shorts content and things like that. So that's how you learn, who you want to target, what kind of content you want to create to be able to then resonate, well with them, and to stay relevant to the age group that you want to talk about. So here you get to see, definitely you see top interest, social media, like in the age group 18 to 24, right? And clearly students is high. Others is because it's high as well because they are not able to categorize that their occupations. So if you take that out, you can see students is like yourself is the highest. Yeah. So that's clear about our audience. That's how you understand a bit about your audience, right? So there's many use cases into how you use social listening. You check your brand health. How are you comparing to your competitors? Okay, you talk about what people are talking about yourself, what are the sentiments around it, whether your Mac delivery is happening or Happy Meal is happening, which product of it that is garnering the positive sentiments. You look into your competitive insights. You measure your social channel performance as well. Like what is the content that is currently trending or engaging with the consumers. If my one TikTok videos is able to go viral, should I create more? Definitely, right? So if I were to do a post on a static post on TikTok and no one is engaging because it's static, so do you, as a brand, have to stop doing it. So that's how you learn about how your content performs and how it is relevant to your consumers, right? So you get to monitor influencer as well. So a lot of brands now is like, we know mega influencers give us a lot of eyeballs, right? Their content is great, but the thing is, brands are also looking at genuine influencers who are organically already talking about their brand or already have built their brand love. So if I'm someone who has been using, I've been talking about McDonald's for 7 days a week. I tweet about it, I talk about it, but I only have 500 followers. But because I'm so in love with the brand, I talk about it every day. As a brand, would you want to engage me? Probably, right? If it's like you're engaging to a fan. And if they engage me and I've been talking about the brand, it feels that I feel that, wow, the brand actually acknowledged me, and that builds a deeper connection with the brand. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be a diehard fan. I'm gonna continuously support the brand. And that's how why this influencer monitoring is also very important. Or if I have a bad influencer or someone who is talking negatively about my brand, as a brand, I also want to know, because then I want to address or challenge that person. Why do you think my chicken is not nice? Or no, I want to understand as well why that person has been, has been commenting negatively about my brand, my products, and I want to address that concern. So that's how influencer monitoring works, not just to identify mega influencers to look at the performance, but also to identify the smaller matters like negative conversations and who in the community is influencing people or advocating for a brand. Okay, you can use social listening to monitor campaigns, look at trending topics, what's currently trending at the speed of culture, meaning that as and when it's happened, so that you can drive brand relevancy. So example, Squid Games, right? It's trending now. How many of you have watched it? Yes, hands up, emotions. Yeah, cool. See, what can McDonald's do? Can they maybe a McCafe with the that serves the sweet, right? So there's many things that they can do to write on trending topics, and also if there's any issues or if there's any crisis that's ongoing, you can always use social listening to do that. Clear? Okay, then it comes down to social analytics. What's the difference between listening and analytics is that analytics, meaning that you actually track the performance of your channels, your content, as well as your audience who are already on your channels, right? So if some of you who have your own page, you would know that, if you have your own, for example, your Instagram, right? If you post your Insta stories, how many of you will click on the button at the, your Insta stories and say how many people have viewed your Insta stories? I'm sure all of you are guilty of that, right? You'll see, oh, which of my friends have viewed my Insta stories, or oh, this post actually garnered a lot of interactions, a lot of people have replied to me, so maybe I should do this more often, things like that. So these are all the little things that as a brand you need these tools as well, because for us, if your individual content in your feed, you may post one post a day, but for brands who are like regional or telco, who is fast moving at a fast moving pace, right, where you probably have 10 products to share with the audience on a daily basis, you will need a tool to help you monitor that, because then you also need to look at where the engagements are coming from. How many people am I reaching? If I have 4 million followers on Facebook and 500,000 of followers on Instagram, if I have I want to launch my new product, where should I launch it? Of course, I have to launch it on Facebook because I have 4 million followers and I want to push my content to them, tell them, hey, I have a new product, come and learn more of it. But if I want people to engage my content, because I see that engagement is higher on Instagram, people are liking, people are, clicking on my Insta stories, using my filters, or clicking on my polls, interacting with my emoji sliders and all that, and engagement is super high, and most likely they are the advocates or the main brand advocates for the brand, right? So I would want to engage with them. I want to build more brand love with them, and that is how I shift my content to be able to fit into that channel's role, right? So Facebook, higher audience means I used to create eyeballs, content for awareness. If engagement is high on Instagram or TikTok, then I will use those channels to engage, create content that gets people to interact with the brand, or say that, hey, what do you want people, what games or what flavors of sundae ice cream do you want to have next? Like sundae, McDonald's have a lot of sundae flavors, right? So what do you want next? Do you want a nasi lemak sundae? That kind of stuff. So that's how you get polls, you get results, you get engagement, or you get loved from your consumers. So you need to look into social analytics, and that is how you monitor your own content. You're not looking at outside. You're not looking at what's happening beyond social media. You're just focusing on your own channel and your own content and people who are following your content. Okay? Understand? Any question here so far? No? Right, I'm going to move on. So next would be trends research. So a lot of things happening, like you want to know like what's happening in Malaysia, what are people searching, or when I want to talk about McDonald's, what do people also search for, or what's currently trending. So you can go on to Google Trends. This is a simple, oh, sorry. I mean, I'll go back there. I'll just follow up on Google Trends first, okay? So you can click a search term. For example, I want to try fried chicken. I can search the term in Malaysia for the past 12 months, and this is the results over time. Like people are actually searching for it, right? The interest when they search for it. Where's the highest? Apparently, Penangites love fried chicken. They're searching for it. What other things that are related to this search? There's Jackson's. There's Korean actor as well. Maybe you want to tap into K-pop, or you want to learn more about what is this Jackson thing all about. You can click on this breakout. So you get to see, hey, where is it happening? It's happening in Putrajaya. Is it because they have a branch there? So that's how you get related keywords or understanding what's currently trending, right? And good thing is that you can also toggle around what is rising, means emerging, and what is top, that is related to fried chicken, right? Related topics. So frying food, frying all this Korean fried chicken. Yeah, and related queries. So what's rising and what is top? You can do that as well. Yeah, so you can explore. So if I want to do a comparison for, let's say, McDonald's, I want to say fried chicken or burgers. So I can do a comparison as well. So people are actually searching for burgers more than fried chicken. So McDonald's, I should continue selling burgers, right? So what about ice creams? Right? Definitely more than fried chicken, but it's still there. So then you can see what's the split. People in Putrajaya most likely to be looking at burgers more, right? So then how do you then create content that are relevant to each market? When you do your content or when you do your paid media strategy in pushing your brand awareness or your products to your consumers. So in Putrajaya, I may want to push burgers ads more, right? Versus ice creams, right? People who have more sweet tooth, I may want to say, okay, ice creams is last year, maybe you can just move on and see. Yeah, like which states would I want to then push the certain products? Okay, so you can choose this and all that by city and all that. You can browse over, and that's how you get some data to support your content and communication strategy. Okay, so these are all free tools that you can get online that you can search for. So earlier, I think I was on this trends research. Okay, before I do that, I think there's another tool that I would like to introduce as well. If you can go to Social Bakers, I mean like TalkWalker is a paid tool, and usually agencies, if you join agencies, it's very expensive. So usually agencies would have it. So, and then for yourself, if you need to work on your assignments or want to play around with some tools, you can go to socialbakers.com, go to resources, go to free tools, right? So there's also the Facebook quadrant report, the Instagram quadrant report. You can try that out. So basically you can map two brands, their Facebook URLs here, and then you click on get a report. You need to submit your email so that that's how they get the leads. So you can add the pages or the pages that you want to monitor to do a comparison, right? Or you can even try other social media statistics, right? For example, industry platforms benchmark. So if I were to look into FMCG food or retail food or beverages, like for example, if you're in retail food, I want to focus on, let's say, I have Malaysia. Okay, I don't have Malaysia, so I can go Asia Pacific, right? Okay. then you will be able to see they have one latest one, which is Q1 2021. Okay, so then this is how you look at the report findings of where are the interactions at. Okay, this may not be interesting. Okay, so you can see here, social media landscape. It gives you a little bit of, when it comes to retail food industry, right? Where is the total audience being seen, right? They are seen on Facebook, very less on Instagram. But in terms of number of posts that the brands are putting are equally, I would say more on Instagram, slightly bigger as per the Facebook, but they're quite equal. And then you can see the interactions. Interactions are more in terms of the in a retail food category when it comes to Facebook. But what if you want to look at other categories? So you can use all those free insights to tell you that, okay, if I were to launch a new brand for food and in retail, then this is how I don't have any channel analytics. I don't have any past performance data to tell me how my brand performed. But I want to look into the category. What are my competitors doing, or what are the insights of that category that is currently achieving or across the region. So when I want to launch a product, I want to launch a new brand, I get a bit of insights where I want to focus my content curation or the channels to go to, right? And you can see what actually performs much better. Like, is it the photos performs much better than live video? But I think if you will try to switch around, I think in the fashion category, live videos is actually higher compared to photos and videos. So things like that, you need to look at, like when I create content for my brand or my clients or your own brand, for example, these are things that I need to know and I need to experiment as well. Yeah, so you see organic performance, live video actually performs much better because on live you can share or interact, and that's how Facebook will push the feed to your followers feed, right? Say, hey, who and who is watching this live content, interacting, so you should watch as well. So this is also based on the algorithm that Facebook has put into. So that's how you see that live video is organically is performing. So as a brand, do you want to tap into live video, right? How do you get more people to be more aware of your channels, of your brand? And that's how you learn that, hey, I need to create live video, things like that. Okay, so these are samples of tools you can try. There are free tools like this online. Okay, so all this data that you can gather from social listening, from trends, from your website app, or from social listening and all that, it allows you to also categorize your audience into many different categories, or it will allow you to get to know your audience much better, right? So for example, the life stages, at which part of the or where they are. Like earlier when you look at the audience demographics, if they are students, they are just students, right? Yeah, between that age group. So most likely they are pursuing a degree, or they in a couple of more years, 1 or 2 more years, they will be a fresh grad, that kind of stuff. So then what that life stages, how as a brand do you want to speak to them? If I'm a car brand, I may want to advocate them, start to believe in my brand, so that when they are fresh grad and they have their own financial capability to buy their own first car, that would be the brand that they would go to. So you need to build that audience segments as well, the aspirational audience segment, so that when you talk to them, what are the aspirational content that you can create to inspire these people, like when they buy their first car, their first home, they would choose your brand. So you need to understand that your audience as well, right? And how you target them and what stage do you target them, right? Then what are the purchasing behaviors offline, online? So if you join a company or you join an agency, usually they also have tools that can track online and offline behaviors. So offline behaviors can be down to the POS system, or in the retail you have those I would say a Bluetooth trackers that can say, hey, how many people walk into your retail shop, and then your device, your phone will be able to ping, or it will be offline is when I go to my counter and I transact. So that will be your offline behavior. Then there's also the online behavior in terms of like how many people engages with my social posts, how many people engages with my my content or my ads online. So that's your online behavior, right? Based on the interest and all that. Then there's also the app behaviors as well. How often do they use the app? If I am a Grab and I have an app, if you ordered food a lot, so most likely I'll target you with an food offers. I will not target you with a ride offers. But if then if I want to say that, okay, you are not a ride user, but I want to encourage you to be a ride user, what do? I give you an offer. I will give you a coupon. I give you a voucher that you use so that I can get you to ride with us, ride with Grab. So that's how you study their app usage as well. Or when it comes to website, usually website you have your own tools as well. I mean, you build a website, or you can also link it to Google Analytics. So Google Analytics is also a free tool where they allow brands, when they build a website, they mark each of the page or each button of the page and say that, okay, if I come to a product page to look at a shoe, for example, from social media link, as I see, I go to their website, whether I click add to cart or not, if I add to cart and I didn't check out. So then these behaviors will say, hey, this user came to my page and then they didn't check out, right? They add to cart, but they didn't check out. So what was the drop off? Why didn't they check out? Was it because the payment options? If you're only doing cash or or deposit, you're not doing credit cards, you're not doing e-wallets. So you need to, as a brand, you need to consider as well, like all this data is important to ensure that at the end of the day, you reach your business goals, which is increasing your sales, right? For most brands, for most people, it's always about sales target. So then you will understand the pain points. So if I come to a website and then no one does anything, I don't add to cart, I don't browse, I just log off. Why? Is it because your website is not loading fast enough? So all these website behaviors, all this consumers' behaviors is key to help the brand achieve their business goals. Okay, then website, if they spend a lot of time on your blog posts, right? So then your content become crucial because people want to know more about your product. People want to read your content, and then more efforts have to be put into content curation. So that's how you build your comms around your content as well. Like, what do you want to tell your audience, right? Then search trends, as I shared earlier, what are people searching besides just fried chicken? What are the things that they search for? If Korean fried chicken is a thing in that's related to fried chicken, so maybe you may want, as a McDonald's, I want to create something new or limited edition as well, Korean sauce and things like that, right? Which they have done. Then content performance, which content actually works and how it works. Then you have the social platform as well, like how your social data or your content is performing, and also understanding the purchasing journey. So purchasing journey is also the similar as the website. Where's the drop off? How often do they purchase? For example, if I'm selling a car, I don't see my customer coming back to me in another few more months to purchase another one, right? So how am I going to continuously engage with them is that, let's say I'm Borodua. If they have purchased a car with me, I want to continuously have their sales or for them to come to my service center. So you need to understand that, after 3 months after they purchase the car, they need to do a service. So I need to prompt them, hey, it's time for you to service your car. And that's how they come back to your service center. So they don't go somewhere else, right? Or maybe 5 years from now, and then you say, hey, it's time for you to upgrade a new car. Because you understand in their life stages, they are probably reaching to their mid-30s already after purchasing their first cars, right? So it's time for them to upgrade themselves, right? So then you want to then say, hey, this is the upgrade for yourself, new car, trade-in promos or things like that. So these are the things that you can look at when it comes to purchasing journey, and every product can be very different according to the category they're at. Buying a burger, impulse purchase, you can just do very, it's very fast. Then buying a house, buying a car, on any expensive goods, sometimes the purchasing journey can be a longer. So you need to think as well how your message or how your content can continuously engage them, or to continuously put your brand on top of their mind. When they want to do something or when they want to change, they'll think about you. Okay, so that's important. So I'm just going to give you an example before I break you down into your breakout groups. Is that, for example, if I'm Pampers, who should I sell this to? Anyone? Unmute yourself.
The parents, because they're the one actually buying it.
Parents, mothers. Yeah, correct. Okay, you should, yeah, correct. Parents definitely is correct. But you see parents as father and mother, that's quite a wide category, right? So it's like, who is going to use it usually? So parents, father is always the one who's going to pay for it, but mothers is the one who's going to choose, right? Unless father say, hey, I only give you like this amount of money, you need to buy a cheaper one. Then of course, mother has no option but to go for cheaper ones, right? But I think again, at the end of the day, the one has I would say largely the target audience or your primary audience is actually mothers, right? But there's many ways for you to look at mothers, right? That not just mothers, but there's so many mothers out there. There's the working mom, there's the fashionista mom, there's the artsy mom, or there's a super mom who's juggling everything like work and home and doing multiple things, or full-time mom. Then there's the mom who loves fitness, right? Who when they give birth, the first thing that they do is they want to get fit again, and then they start working out and things like that. Or there's the first-time mom or the expectant moms, they don't know what to expect, their first pregnancy, right? Or their second. So how do they prepare, or how they see your product can be also very different. And the first-time mom who is probably very anxious, or who is very scared or excited, depends. Like everyone's go through a different stage of the feelings of the first time being a mom. And also there's the cloth diaper mom who don't believe in diapers like Pampers, right? So there's so many moms out there. So you need to see that how as Pampers, how do you then speak to the working mom, right? Is it you want something fast, right? Or that works for you yourself, or you juggle with work? Or a fashionista mom, if I have Pampers with 5 different colors, would that then be enticing to them? Or if a fitness mom, what would that be? Or if I'm a first-time mom, then I would want to educate them as well. Like, for example, if you go to the diapers alley in the shopping, when you shop for diapers, what do you need to know, right? You need to look at the label, whether is it for newborn, is it for toddler, is it for 1-year-old, because then the size can be very different and the application can be very different as well, right? So these are the things that you need to know. Don't zoom it into just like say parents, but then you say, who is the parents? Mother. Then who is this mother? You also need to zoom into, so that when you sell your product or when you create content or your comms, you are able to address to each of these moms, because all the challenges is very different, right? Same goes to back to this first example. If I were to sell, if I'm McDonald's, if I want to speak to every one of us in this group, in this call right now, the products I want to sell to you can be very different, because some of you like the burgers, some of you like chicken, some of you just like sundae. For me, I'll go for I love your coffee. I don't, so I would, then the products that you push to me will be more on the McCafe kind of products, right? So that's how, as a brand, you have to ensure that the messaging, the products that you push to me is relevant. And there's no longer one message or one creative or one video that fits all anymore. Because now, as you all know, all of us are on our devices. All of us are interacting, following influencers that we like, our channels that we like. We no longer want to consume content that we don't want to see, right? On TV, when you watch those TV3 or ATV, which I don't now, when I grew up, I used to be like forced to watch through the ads, and I was like, oh my God, when is this going to finish? I want to skip through and all that. And in fact, on YouTube, you can now skip those ads, but sometimes you cannot skip. You still have to watch through. But the thing is, I feel so annoyed when there's a ads that pops up. But I like it when the ads actually speaks to me, and I was like, this is probably something I want. Hey, this is what I've been searching for, you know. So I can click on it and it become relevant, and that's how you get positive leads or quality leads. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to give you a brief. I'm going to break you guys into 5 different groups. Okay, so this brief is for World Vision. I'm going to give you 30 minutes. So it's a Christmas campaign. I want to help to gain brand awareness in terms of what they do. It's like they are asking people for sponsorships to help kids live a better life. You know, not just kids in Malaysia, but other parts of the world who are not so privileged like all of us. You know, better education, better livelihood, or maybe hygiene kind of sort of things as well, like access to water, clean water, access to reading materials or education and things like that. So we need someone who can continuously advocate for the brand as well as engage with the brand, and also at the end, the ultimate goal is to get more sponsorships for the brand. So I want you to think that if I were to target Malaysians, it's Malaysians, like I cannot just say, oh, a race and all that. But now I want you to focus and look into the personas that we can target. And each of these personas, the mindset or the challenges, the daily challenges, and what would entice them to donate or to believe in World Vision can be very different. So I will break you guys into those groups, and I want you to also think of who are they, what are the demographics. So for example, I'm looking at working professionals. Which age group are they at? What most likely is the occupation? You know, it can be, let's say you can just put there a lawyer or a manager or a senior manager, things like that. Just put one, and then what's their digital behavior? So as someone who is professional, most likely how much time do they spend on digital content? What kind of content do they consume? Are they on Facebook more, or are they more? Do they spend more time on LinkedIn? You know, or are they reading more online news like on CNN, BBC, or Harvard Business Review and things like that, right? So what are their daily challenges? So daily challenges, for example, students, they may not have financial incomes to donate, right? But then what are their needs and all that? So you need to put into all this consideration of who they are, what are they looking for, right? And how do we as a brand influence them to donate to World Vision? Where are they at? So that we can create content that speaks to them. And then how do we reach them? Okay, so you will have this workout sheet. You'll break down into your own groups, 30 minutes. I think Ms. Chu will share this worksheet with you. Then as a group, work this out. So populate their daily challenges, what their needs, what influence them, right? To what influence them in life. Then where are they? How do we connect with them? Which channels? How do we connect with them? Is it by content? How do we speak to them? What is the USPs, you know, and how do we continuously engage with them? Okay.
Right. I'm just going to put the Padlet link. I've put this onto a Padlet. I'm going to put the Padlet link into a chat room, and then I will just open up the breakout rooms. It's auto distributing people. We will have 5 groups, and then Eileen, do you want them to like upload their finished file back to the Padlet, or you okay with just like they can share screen later and that's enough?
Yeah, you can share screen later. And
Okay.
you can either do a group presentation, or you know, in between yourself, you can just do like a 5. One of you can assign someone in your group to present it, your findings. Okay.
So I'm going to open all the breakout rooms. Please move into the breakout rooms and refer to the template that's on the Padlet. Okay, everyone?
So we'll come back around 1:35.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Zoom's at 1:35. Good luck,
Have
everyone.
fun. Have fun.
Let's see. Oh, wait, I need to assign. Hello. Welcome back, everybody. Let's wait for them to slowly click out of their rooms.
Hello, hello. You have fun?
All stressed out?
Still awake or hungry? Okay. 30 more minutes, then you can go and have a lunch, okay?
Let's see, room 1 is not yet back. Room 3 is all back. Dun, dun. Room 5 is all back. Room 4 almost. Oh, room 1 must be hurriedly
Anyone
finishing
have
off.
any feedback about the discussion you had earlier with your teammates? All good? Were there challenges? No?
All right. Wait. Okay, so everybody's back. How you want to do this, Elaine? You just want to randomly?
Randomly pick lah. Just you all guys can volunteer. Who want to go first?
Yeah, who wants to go first
Which team want to go first?
and escape comparison with everybody else? If
Come
not, I'll
on.
just go sequentially. Yeah.
No volunteers?
Okay, when you say it like that, then I'll go lah.
Okay, Esther is on room 4.
Yeah, okay. So, sorry, let me just share my screen. Can you see my screen?
It is loading.
Yeah, I think slowly.
Can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay, so because you said persona, we're just gonna focus on like one person, one of the target audience. So the age is 27 years old, but the age group is like, I think the one that we were discussing was like around 25 to 40, basically a working professional. Here the persona's female, location is likely in urban areas because they are working professionals, and then digital behavior, she's likely to get her information online, buy things online, entertainment is also sometimes online. So her daily challenges is usually stuck in traffic when not at work, or too busy at work and do not know where to donate, or maybe there's too many information online, like you're not sure which one to apply to or to contribute to. Her needs and goals is a firm believer of giving back to the society, so in terms of like donations, and then the second one is wants to advocate for a strong cause. So what influences them? Because she gets her information online, buys a lot of things online, it's likely that she is influenced by online news, but not forgetting also friends and family, as well as advertisements on social media. Where are they? Based on Google that we can search is most of the urban cities are in Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, Johor Bahru, Johor, and Georgetown, Penang. Then where we can connect with them, as you can see, is mostly social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, but also radio and TV, because as I mentioned earlier, it's usually stuck in traffic when not at work. So as well as online streaming sites, because she gets her entertainment online. So how do we connect with them? From social media advertising, banners in e-commerce websites and online news portals, but also not forgetting broadcasting advertising. So especially like during peak hours, through the radio, we can have like short advertisements that will feature the campaign, that can help them remember. And on TV as well, when they're at home during their like leisure hours and stuff, it can appear and they will see it. Then how do we speak to them? We want to say what we discussed. The USP was that we wanted to appeal to their need or goal to give back to society, satisfying their need for gratification in the Maslow's law of hierarchy. Then lastly, how do we continuously engage with them is to update them monthly about their contribution, like how their contribution has helped, and then direct letter or mail from children or families that they have helped. So what we saw online was that how do you engage with them is say thank you and say a lot. So yeah, that's from Breakout Room 4.
Good job. I think Team 4, you guys really nail it. I think clearly this on the leftmost column, it really highlights who I am actually. Like I get practically all my informations online. I've been adopting the online purchase behaviors. And yes, my entertainment is also online. So definitely spot on there. Daily challenges, stuck in traffic. I think you need to have also now with COVID, like working from homes or MCO, the uncertainties, you need to put that as well into one of the daily challenges, like working from home challenges, right? I mean, COVID can be temporary, but it's also something that you need to address as well.
Right.
Right? It will not just go away, as we all know, but the thing is, then what are we facing? Uncertainties, correct?
Okay,
So we need to adapt to hybrid work modes. Nice hybrid work modes. Like I'll be commuting, I'll be working from home, correct? And then when I travel, it's not peak hours, or or if I'm traveling by public transport and all that. So you need to put that in as well. So needs and goals, correct? And the needs can also be their ambition, right? Like if I'm working professional, my needs is I have my own career path or ambitions I want to chase, or career goals that I want to have, right? So you need to put that as well, and that's how you think of how do I link back to the thought process of what is relevant. So for example, if I'm a working professional, I'm career minded, what will be important to me? What are the giving back that I want to have? What is the key thing? Like giving back to society, but what I want to give back, right? I want to give a fair opportunity to girls to have good education so that they can chase their dreams.
Right.
Maybe something relevant to me.
Right.
Empowering girls, equal opportunities, diversity, things like that. So you need to make it, you can add in
More specific.
Yeah, more layers to it.
Okay.
Right? So what influenced them? Online news, friends, advertisement and social media. You can add in some of the sort of like a business articles website as well, right? Like if I'm very entrepreneur or I'm professionals, that would be like CNN or New York Times, those professional news website, the age marketing, those business related portals. Yeah. Okay. Or forums. It can be forums, or it can be those conferences that they would most likely to attend as well, things like that, like how to empower women, because she's a female, 27, right? She may join some close groups to, that encourages one another to be better, or to empower one another, to help one another. So those forums can be also an influencer, can be influencing to them. Like mothers, you have your influencing mothers group as well. So that can be one forum as well.
Right.
Okay. So where are they? I liked it that you learn very quickly to use the Google Trend search. Okay. And then where can we connect with them? Great. And maybe you can think of, let's say you say traffic when when they travel to offices and things like that. So traditional media like billboards can also be one way, right? Out of homes and things like that. Yeah, what else? On digital magazines or digital stuff or online forums and things like that can also be where you connect with them, right?
Right.
And how do you connect? Same thing, radio, TV. So here, in terms of TV, right, you say that they are mostly streaming, that you see the digital behavior, they are most likely to stream entertainment online.
Yeah.
So how does this TV make sense? How does this TV falls into what is their digital behavior?
Right.
You need to also think, you understand them already, but then you see put that as TV. So how?
Understand.
Okay. So how do we speak to them? Appeal to their needs, goals, give them back to society. And here again, it's back to what I said earlier. What are the key, as a from World Vision, they have so many causes of plights that they pushed, right? It can be food, can be hygiene, it can be education. So what is this USPs?
Specifically, okay.
Correct. Empowering or education that will change their dreams and goals and things like that. So you need to be more specific down to that.
Okay.
How do we continuously engage with them? Update monthly. Yeah, this is good. So this is a lot on like EDMs, continuous feedback, to get them to also get an update of what have they contribute to, or how the kids has the child that they sponsored has progressed
Right.
through their life stages and things like that. A thank you note and things like that would be also very helpful. Cool, good job.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't think we have enough time, so we're gonna go for one last group.
Any volunteers? Or I'm just gonna randomly pick somebody already.
Anyone want to volunteer? That's not professionals. Any other personas?
A bit hard to tell. Let's just go with room 5. That's Jay's group. Jay's room with Louise, Natasha, and Wenxuan.
Okay, so I just share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, this is how we could do it on our doc. So our persona is like a new parent who's financially stable. So I'm like 36, living in Selangor. So they go like on Facebook and Instagram. So the daily challenges, like obviously taking care of the child, like feeding, playing, sending to school, work, and then household upkeep and maintaining that work-life balance. So their needs and goals, like saving for like the child's future education, any mortgage payments for like loan, homeowner, and like investing. And influences, we thought like family, personal satisfaction, and empathy. And where are they? Like we got confused by this. We're like, where are they like consuming their media or like location wise? So the social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and email, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, YouTube. And location wise, Selangor, Johor, Penang, based on like the analytics. And where can we connect with them? Like, yeah, we talk about commute to and from work. So we can use out of home advertising and billboards and radio, and then social media and TV. And like TV ads between like children channels, like if they have the TV on to like occupy the child. Same for like YouTube videos, like the little ad just before the video starts, they're gonna have to wait because they want to play the video for the child. So that could be a good way to connect to them. And then social media ads, of course. And how do we speak to them? So we play on their empathy as like a new parent. So like if this child was yours, how would you like deal with that? And also the privilege, like you can read this, but this child can't because of their education and stuff like that. So we play more on that emotions and continuously engage them through social media and emails, like the updates on where their funds are being used and any events in the future. Yeah.
Can you scroll up to the top? Okay. I like that you took the challenge and focus on new parents with kids and with financial stability, right? Okay. I think demographics, the correct location. I mean, you pre-identified a persona. They go on Facebook and Instagram. Daily challenges, taking care of the kid, work, also maintaining work-life balance. How about their would financial? I mean, they are financially stable as well, but would financial be something that their daily challenges as well? Do you think that they need to save some money for?
Yeah, like a bit. Like that's why the goals is like slowly like saving for like this child education in the future. But in the current that they're financially stable enough.
Okay, cool. That's good. Okay, scroll down. what influenced them? Family, personal satisfaction, empathy. Okay, then here you can focus more into empathy for who, because they can be more very specific as well. Because then say they are more parents. So now from a parent's perspective, what influenced them? They want other kids as well. Now they have their own kids. You know, they have
Yeah, so they know how it feels.
correct. So you put that their perspective, you know, put yourself into the shoes and think like which route would actually get their attention, or what will influence them. Would then be friends as well, like word of mouth, you know, will able to their friends or other parents can influence them, or their close circle of friends are able to help them as well, or their colleagues can also be, you know, their influences as well, right? So where are they? Yes, it can be split into what you have. It can be social channels that they are at, the apps that they use, or by location. You can have these different places or digital spaces or media space that you can see them at. Okay, where can we connect with them? Definitely, I think this one you can expand a bit more. I think the previous group actually highlighted quite a few. I think you can expand a bit more in terms of where we can connect with them. Parents who are financially stable are also working professionals, so you can put into consideration as well. Where are all this, you know, when they're financially strong, where are they going to be seen? You know, are they are they influential in terms of their community, you know, in the workspace and all that? So who are their support groups and all that? Then where do they go to? Think of it in that sense as well. So how we connect with them? Okay, TV ads. Yeah, I think the comments would definitely be the same. And what I really like about what you shared here is definitely playing on the empathy message and relating it back, like how as a parent, how would they picture themselves, the kids and other kids, you know, like that route. I think that is a very good, like quite spot on in terms of how what the ideas that you put into here. Good job. So yeah, how do we continuously engage with them? I think go on beyond social media and emails, right? Can you share like storybooks, stories, mini series of content on YouTube? You know, like how do you create those content or even storybooks that they can read with their kids and things like that, you know? So how do you create time? At the same time, they can empower another kid and also say spend time with their kids. So, you know, their needs or their challenges become something that, you know, that encourages them to donate. At the same time, they get something out of it that they can then help other kids. You know, you have to think of that whole ecosystem as well. You know, how do they do this, and how do we address their needs and challenge, and then what do we want them to get out of it when they donate or sponsor a child? Okay, or do they want their kids to learn more about, you know, how privileged are they, so that they are more content, you know, or they will continue to strive, you know, to be more helpful with, or, you know, to donate and things like that, you know, as you go on. So these are things that you can consider. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good job, team 5. Okay, I don't think we have enough time. I only have like 7 minutes, but I can extend my call for another 5 to 10 minutes, if that's okay. I think I have a few slides more that I need to share. Anyone have any questions before I move on? No? Do you guys agree with all everything that your classmates have presented? Oh, cool. Okay. All right. Good job, guys. Okay. So I'm going to focus on the type of content, right? Earlier you mentioned that there's the USPs, you know, you're focusing on the messaging, you're focusing on their needs and their challenges, and how from a brand perspective, how you speak to them. So then when it comes to content, there are also different types of content, right? There's the hero content where normally people talk about their brands, brand vision, brand proposition, what's my brand stand for and things like that. Usually it's a hero content. It can be like Chinese New Year ads or Ramadan ads. That can be your hero video ads that you put on those mainstream mass media, like on TV, on newspaper, on billboards. People can see it. But there's also the smaller content on the digital side of things, right? Which we call the hub and hygiene. Okay, hub is where you are all constantly sort of like pushing this content to your followers or to people, and this is where your social media comes into play. Your social media content falls into this, right? So it's a regular content. You're always on content. You always talk to them and say, hey, this is the product, this is my brand, this is what I'm selling. And then you are curating this to your followers. So people who have a very specific interest, or your ads, you're targeting to a specific people with a persona of a specific interest, that would be your hub content, right? Like you want to build stories about kids, World Vision, how these kids are suffering and how World Vision is helping them. That would be your hub content. So you build that brand love with your audience. You develop themes as well. Like, for example, World Visions have so many different flags. And of course, you cannot just continuously shout like, hey, 555, this did one day and all that. You also have to make sure that you strategize your content according to a theme as well. Like if I were to focus on education, or kids dare to dream, or chasing your goals, giving them equal opportunity, that can be one. And then you can say, okay, we can go by countries, like how the funds would help kids from different parts of the world to and achieve their dreams and things like that. So you have to develop that strategy as well, right? And how do you drive the new audience? How do you engage with them? Which channels would help you to promote that engagement, or which channels would help you to get eyeballs? Like I mentioned earlier, where are your followers? Who are the audience that engages with you? So you need to think about this when it comes to your hub content, right? And these are the content that you push to the audience. These are called hub content. So hygiene content, on the other way, why you call it hygiene is because this content not necessarily needs to talk about your brand, or not. I don't need to talk about World Vision or what we do, or McDonald's. I don't need to talk about my products, but I can tell you, hey, how to go green, for example, how to go green at home. So all this content, for example, I said 5 different ways to go green at home. If you buy your sundae ice cream, you come with the plastic cups, or now the paper cup. Can you wash it? You recycle it, and you come your plant. You kind of pot where you can grow your plants and things like that. How do you recycle certain sundae ice cream spoons, things like that, or make it into accessories, or new craft work and things like that. So things like this, I'm not necessarily promoting my products or the things I'm selling, but I'm telling you there are ways. And then there are some people who will then go online and search, how do I recycle certain things? And that's how they stumble upon your content, or how do I go green? Then they will come to your content, they'll see it and say, oh, McDonald's is actually promoting this. It's like, hey, why is McDonald's doing this? It can just tie into say, oh, as a brand, we support sustainability. That can be a brand value, but you're not highlighting it in your products, but it's something of value that you champion as a brand, as a company. And people who have that same values will then say, okay, I support McDonald's because the brand values resonates very well with me. Not necessarily I want to consume your product, but when I want to order something, I would think of it and say, oh, okay, I want to something that aligns with my own life values. So it can be educational, informative, and these hygiene videos, it can be in many forms. It can be on video on YouTube. People go online and say, how to, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Or it can be on search. People go online and say, how do I, what I need to do? What can I do? When is MCO opening up? And then lockdown and all that. So you can do all this. And video, blogs, articles to your website. It can drive traffic to your social channels as well as to your own website, where you can then ask them to buy your products, or indirectly, engages with them to entice them to know more about your product. So that's the whole hygiene content all about. You need to have these splits of content. Not necessarily one video doesn't fit all anymore. You need to have hub talking to a specific audience, and you also need the hygiene. They are not following your brand, they don't know about your brand, but when they search for something, you're able to capture them. Okay, that's how the 3 key content works. So earlier I focused a lot on the first 2 key things, right? Social listening, as well. I mean, all the apps to help you get data, understand your audience. So you have your brand strategy, you have content strategy, and you have your the creative direction that you want, like what are the key messages, like the group 5 says you want to go to the empathy route, right? So you have that, and you will say, okay, I want to put it as like, what the kids have and what other kids doesn't have, the empathy route. So you can focus on that. So now, how do you drive results out of it? Like, how do you ensure that the content that you put out will then help you to convert into a successful donation or a successful sponsorship, for a kid, right? So of course you have your media operations team who will then be doing, hey, I'll put this amount of money, I will do a click-through rates goals, or the objective is on awareness and things like that. But here we also can rely a lot on machines or technology to help us as well. So creative automation is basically a tool that it's like a tech platform where you build your master files, your layout and all that, and you were able to perform this repetitive actions as well, and it generates like high volume. So there are many things that you can automate, right? You can automate in terms of the creatives. Like now I create, for example, Nike, I would create a one template, one video at behind, and then this text is going to be dynamic as to who I push it to, students, working professionals, parents with kids and all that. All this message can be different. So in this slide context, you can see Nike, you can target to many different target audience, right? People who have the interest, for example, if I'm male, New York, basketball, of course, then the visual that I want to show them is about is of talent, male, and that's the basketball, so that they can strike that personalized, or it sort of like triggers their interest that, hey, Nike, basketball, they can link in that sense. Or female who is just walking in London, 20 plus, so you can show them a sneakers, image of a sneakers instead of a workout shoes. Or a female 35 in Paris who is a fitness junkie whose interest is in gym, right? So then, of course, the language that you use can be in French instead. And in Malaysia context, if my Facebook is set to Mandarin, the ads they want to target me, of course, have to be in Mandarin so that I know how to read. And if I set English, it'll be English. So these are the little things that if I were to do it manually, right? You have to do 4 different versions, 5 different versions, 6 different versions, for example, right? But if, let's say, I use the automation, I can always rely on the tools to help me to come up with the variants as well. So it saves you a lot of time. And then you also can allows the brand as well to do a little bit of dynamic context. So for example, if you're launching a promo, like let's say for H&M, right? You're counting down to a collection that you're going to launch, and you want to do the countdown. Instead of you doing, for example, H&M have 100 stores across Malaysia, and the client say, okay, I want to address traffic to 100 stores, and I want to do every day, I want to do different creatives, like countdown to the launch of the collection. You don't drive the whole creative team crazy, or you don't want to create like hundreds and thousands of creatives which is the same. Sometimes you screw up the creatives along the way, like maybe location can be wrong or the dates can be wrong and things like that, right? So in order for us to help us to minimize the human error, and also for us as human to focus on the big idea instead of doing all this manual work that may be tedious to some, now you can rely on the machine as well to give you that variance, right? So it's a machine that does repetitive actions. So it can be count down the dynamic dates, what's the choice, what's the brand, or what's the languages, where's the location of the shop, and then you can have the variables of the different call to actions as well. right? What does it mean? So if I were to target them, let's say, for example, if I target you and then the next image or the next ads and you didn't go to the shop, you didn't land to the e-commerce website, but then saying, I don't want to lose you because you're potential customers or a group that I've identified. Now I want to give you a promo code so that you can then now go online and purchase it immediately. And there's a countdown, like purchase in 5 hours to get 50% off. Of course, then you will be enticed to do that. So then that's how you get the fast conversion rate of it. So you can do this and you don't have to do it, or the media team doesn't have to do it, but you get the machine to say that, when they come then to the website, they didn't do anything, you can push this promo code to them. So that's how you rely on automation to help you to do that. So it drives better performance. It helps you to also, as a brand, you get to refresh content. So remember, if you see a brand and then for the past 1 to 2 months, you keep on seeing the ads on Facebook, I myself was very irritated by it. I'm not sure how many of you are. So sometimes I would just say hide, or I just like, don't show me these ads anymore. I would choose the option if I can, or report it. So that's why the refreshing of content is very important to continuously engage with the audience, not lose their interest, but at the same time you avoid those ad fatigue, and I see it like too often, right? So how do you stay relevant? How do you stay fresh? Then you also throughout a campaign, for example, sales, how do you optimize it? Promo codes, more immediate call to action, or you can have the different audience insights as to help you understand a bit of audience insights, as in when you have creative, you target to different group of personas, which creative actually helps to convert. Does a image of a girl to a male audience converts better, or there's a product image with a talent converts better. So you get to A/B test so that when I launch or when I do my next campaign, I'm able to do that. So it allows you to gain a little bit insights into your audience. And then platform agnostic, because now we all know working from home, or whether we are going to be hybrid working, office and on at home, sometimes we tend to switch between our devices. It can be from phones to desktop to tablets and things like that. So the creatives that you have or the automation will allow you to then target that audience. Same Facebook account, but then the visuals, like from Insta Stories, which is vertical, down to your feed news, which is horizontal. So you will be agnostic according to that. So I won't be able to see a cutoff, of my content and things like that. So it creates better brand visibility and awareness to your target audience. So where artificial intelligence come into play? Artificial intelligence is combinations of a bit of science, programming, and the intention to make a machine smarter, right? So I'm sure you know Alexa, you've known Siri in your iPhone. These are all mini AIs in your phone, right? So they recognize your voice and say, hey, hi Siri, search for McDonald's. Okay, my Siri is answering to me. So these are things that that is being programmed into the machine to be able to give you the answers, right? So these are little artificial intelligence you have in your phone. Predictive language, as and when you type, the words comes out, right? Check your grammar errors and things like that. So it has already been programmed. So in the marketing or in advertising context, now what we are doing in ADA, as well as in because we always want to be ahead of all our competitors. So what we are doing right now is we are also using artificial intelligence, not in just understanding the context of audience, but we're also looking into content production. So, and also media performance, how to drive better media performance, where to move the media budgets around and all that. Instead of humans doing the manual calculation, now we rely on artificial intelligence to do that. So content production can be analyzing what is your objective, what is the data that you have, who is the persona that you want to target. You just need a user to input that, hey, this is my marketing objective and this is my demographics, who I want to target and which are the location. Then the artificial intelligence can then be recommending the formats. For example, video. If I want to launch a new product, what do I need to have? The formats can be ads, but what are the content of the ads? Do you want to go to a humorous route, or do you want to go to a more informative route, or serious drama? It really also depends on what type of content people are consuming, right? So instead of you manually go and search online on YouTube and see what video actually works, now you have an artificial intelligence who are doing the data processing back end. And once you put in the objective and your target audience demographics, they're able to recommend those formats to you. So that it's sort of like, when you do your creative thinking, then you can say, okay, let's do this, let's focus on this, and A/B test and see what happens. So it also gives you a bit of predicting capabilities as well into potentially what are the results, right? And also, for example, if some AI allows to do authoring, as in writing the content, right? So you can say that, okay, if I want to target to this market, it has to be fun. Can you sort of like change this copy to be a more fun context, to be more vibrant and things like that, happy and all that. So this AI are able to do that authoring copy for you as well. Or if you don't know anything and you say, okay, I want to talk about artificial intelligence and I want to appear like, to be smarter than everyone in the room, so I can use those AI as well to come up with my script. Yeah, there's actually tools out there like that. So if you want to try, I think there is one that is called Hypertext, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's free and you can try it as well. But yeah, don't tell Miss Chu later. She said that you'll be writing your report using that artificial intelligence. Okay, so you give you the scoring potential. When you launch a campaign, when is a good time to launch it? As in, like, when are the peak hours? When, for example, it looks into content calendar as well. Or even locally, for example, Malaysia, for example, when you want to launch a product, you don't want it to be at the same time when Deepavali happens or any festival celebrations, because you'll be clashing, right? Everyone in your other brands or competitors will be talking about festive, but then suddenly you launch a product. So you are like just fighting with noises. So how do you stand out? When is a good time for you to launch a campaign and all that? So AI is able to help you to predict that, as well as personalizing those communications to who you are targeting. So there's automation and personalization as well that AI can come into play. So then the question is, will AI replace human? I would say no, because the purpose of the whole AI is just to help you in terms of your media performance, right? Effective content, but you will still need your human insights. Like earlier, when you do your breakout activities, right, your assignment, you need to focus on who you want to target, right? And that is how, once you know who you want to target and what creatives or what messaging or which route that you want to approach, that's how the AI help you to build the variants or to build that different sizes to help you to drive better performance, a more effective content marketing, like to tell you, hey, which format actually works better. Or if you don't want the AI to do the formats for you, you can build the 3 different formats, put it online and get the results. So that can be one way, from a human, you rely on automation or AI to tell you which will be more effective for you, and also for your CRM communications. So CRM is like your newsletter, like the World Vision that you shared earlier, updates on how the money or how the fund has helped the kids, or a thank you message, for example. That is your CRM communication, constantly telling the sponsors, hey, this is how you have helped the kids with your monthly sponsorship. That kind of content can be automated and it can also be personalized. So instead of me saying, hey, Natasha, hi, you have donated this amount, but if I personalize it to you, like Natasha, that, hey, you have, this is your kid, and how your money has helped, and it's being addressed to you. So you will feel that, hey, you don't feel so, I don't know, foreign, or you don't feel so left out, like, you're actually talking to me and it's personalized to what I want to see, who, and all that. So you feel that connection, that emotional connection as well. You can build that emotional connection with the brand, right? Then of course, with automation, it takes up your time in focusing on building the different variants of things. It allows you to focus on that one big idea and then move on. As a brand, as a human, if you're in advertising, you rely on automation, or why we as agency adopt automation and AI is because then we allow our people to focus on what matters, right? What that needs a bit of a human touch. It will not replace you. It will not replace your job, but just make your job, what you do, better. Okay, that's all. my presentation for today. If you have any questions, I can spare another maybe another 5 minutes or 10. If you have or if you are shy to ask, you can always scan this QR code. You can go to my LinkedIn. You can message me. I'm not sure. I think some of your schoolmates have been messaging me on LinkedIn, but I've switched off my LinkedIn for past 2 months. Due to personal reasons, I've disconnected from social media, but after this, I will reconnect back so that I can add you guys on. Okay. Any questions?
Yep, thanks, Eileen. Yeah, any questions about this topic or any other questions not related to this topic for Eileen? About maybe, I don't know, working in ADA or in this general field? Feel free to ask.
Hi, Eileen. May I ask a question?
Hi, sure.
Hi. What is your experience with current tailors, interns from tailors? Any good experience from?
Of course. I think I started my first talk in how many years ago? 4 years ago.
Was 2018?
2018. Yeah.
I think so, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Alicia and Zimmy's group. So they came in as my interns, and I'm very happy. You know, they're very great, and in the end, it's like I even convert them into a full-timer. So some of them are still in ADA. I think you can reach out to them as well. I think some of them are your seniors. Yeah.
I don't think they've met them though, because they would have
Then
graduated.
you can connect with them via LinkedIn. You can just filter those results. School, tailor, current company, ADA. I think you can get a few of them on LinkedIn. So far, I'm very happy with the quality. I mean, of course, you have to go through the whole interview process. And for the hiring manager, to impress the hiring manager to hire you. And when you are interning, you need to show the values that ADA champions as well, right? So for example, like we do have our own company values. Like if you go to our ADA website, we do have like act now, you know, or disrupting status quo. So if you champion those values, I think it would be much easier as well for the hiring manager to give them a reason as well, you know, to continue or convert you into a full-timer, so that, you know, you can help the clients as well as the account or the team and the company in the long run. Yeah, and easier for them to justify why they need to hire you. If not, you'll just be another intern. Yeah.
All right, that's great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Question, Natasha. Any others?
I'd like to ask something about like digital marketing strategy, because like I think these past like 2 years I've been sticking on the 80-20 rules for my social media club marketing. It's like 80% for like benefit contents, like the hygiene contents, and 20% for like direct. But some of them say like this formula is actually not effective anymore. So what do you think about that?
I would say that's why you need those tools. You see, you need to see you need to see the trends, or you need to see where your consumers is moving, and you need to see how is your content performing, right? Let's say 80-20 is it's your guide. You know, you can start with that, and then you can say, okay, is this performing? You know, is this hub content helping me to convert, or hygiene content helping me to convert? So some of my clients would say that we actually split it 30-30-30, or 40 on brand awareness if it's a new product launch, on, you know, then main campaign, and then we split up lifestyle content, UGC content, and all that. There's so many types of content. So you can split that up and say, hey, which actually helps and works, because it varies. In advertising, that's the thing I like about advertising, is that nothing is constant. And especially in digital, everything moves very fast. Stories, 24 hours. People talk about a food panda. Are they talking about today? I don't think so, right? So everything happens for, you know, very fast, fun 2 days, and the trends come and goes. Squid Games will probably be around for another week, and then it's gone, you know, that kind of stuff. So everything changed so fast, especially COVID and all that. You cannot just rely on what you learn or what people tell you, but to leverage on the data or the insights that you can get out of the platforms that I've shared, all the insights that you can get, and do your own analysis as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good question though. Anything else? Come on, don't be shy.
No questions, no requests for advice. She's a good person to ask for advice, people. I really recommend it.
Don't be shy, okay?
Okay, then I'll ask. What's your advice for any of us who may want to apply for internship or a job overseas? Specifically internship, I guess, since most of us can't necessarily get a job immediately.
I would say it's good, but the thing is that I think now it's the restrictions of traveling would be a concern as well. So you will need to look at whether how the internship program works, right? If you may want to go overseas, in another company so that you can learn the culture, you can learn about the different markets, right? But with the current restrictions of traveling and so tight, visas and all that so tight, will you be able to get that market experience or to get that cultural experience, right? If not, why are you giving up on opportunities being home, right? You can, for me, that if you focus on that, it will actually hampers your opportunity in working in a good company locally. Yeah, and the thing is, I would suggest, if you cannot travel there, then there's no point to focus on other countries, but to look at opportunities locally, where, for example, in ADA, although I'm based in Malaysia, I have the opportunity to work with other countries. I have opportunities to work in other markets.
Right.
Or I have the opportunity to collaborate with my data science team to build products. I'm not just looking at, I started off as a designer, but what I'm doing now, I'm developing products. I'm looking at innovations, technology. I'm no longer doing designing, but my passion is still designing. I still do it on, when there's a need for it, or when I'm being the creative director for some campaigns, I can still do that. But at the same time, I can develop new skills. So you need to look at, if you don't have the opportunity, if you have the opportunity to go overseas, great. You can open up your experience and all that. But you also need to consider local opportunities so that, and see that, how that expands. As long as you have a growth mindset, I think that would be more important to you than that lah. Yeah. Constantly always look for opportunities, I would say. Even if you intern in a small setup, I told you I started from a very small agency, right? But I learned the traits of the whole agency. When you start small, you get to learn more. Or if you go to a bigger agency, then volunteer for projects, but don't overwhelm yourself lah. Don't overstress yourself and all that. But when you do that and you're willing to grow, you're willing to learn, I'm sure you can go far in the career. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, you can always opt for international companies so that you have opportunities to when you intern and you continuously show performance on an annual basis, and you are acknowledged by your managers, who will then recommend you, or you can get also, if you join a good company, they do have career growth plans for you as well, right? So then you will have a mentor program as well in the company, so you can get mentoring from other markets, or you can there are side projects like within ADA itself. I'm not trying to promote ADA, but this is what we do, is because we actually have hackathons. We actually have forums where we have we allow our people to come up with ideas or solutions and they pitch against each other, not within agency, but against each other, and see whose idea is the best, right? Like for ideation forums, creative forums, and all that. So that's how you gain visibility. And then we also promotes internal promotions, as in like, or if you want to go cross markets, for example, there's opening in Sri Lanka and you will want to try opportunities there, we allow that as well, as long as we show constant performance. Then as a person who's hiring in Sri Lanka, if I see that, okay, if you're good, Esther, I see you have constant performance, I would want you to join my team, you know. So you need to have that. Yeah, if you don't perform, then don't expect your manager to promote you or to sponsor you for something. You need to show that.
Any other questions from the rest?
Are you hungry?
Probably. Okay, I'll just ask one last question maybe, and then we can close. So since this batch, my class, they're going to do their internship next March.
Yeah.
What do you suggest, like, how to say, when they're picking their internship, what do you think they should consider? Like prioritize, do you think they should prioritize a variety, like, oh, the ability to try different things, or to prioritize like, oh, I want to be a media planner, so I should focus on media, like focus or variety? What do you think is in your opinion anyway, what do you think is the better choice?
I think focus. Because as an intern, you want to be able to impress your manager, as well as to turn that opportunity into a full-time, right? You don't want to go in not having the knowledge as well. So focus on what you want to achieve that. And because when you apply for the job that you are already good at or have knowledge at, that is when you will get the opportunity to intern. So when you intern, when you are already in the organization and when you're on a job itself, you can then say that, hey, I want to volunteer for something else, or you want to channel 20% of your time focusing on something else and ask your manager for approval for that. So that's when you get to diversify what you do. Okay, so apply for the job that you know you are good at. But sometimes you don't know that you're good at that, right? But you can still apply. I mean, no harm in applying. So if the manager interviews you and say, hey, you're very good in your media, but I think you also can try data because you have an analytical sense. When the manager interviews you, they would probably ask you a few questions to get, to understand your skill sets, to understand where you're heading. They'll, when you experience, you'll be able to see that in that person. So they'll probably give you, okay, you know what? I believe you can do this. If they say that, okay, you can try something else instead of media, then trust that process, because sometimes things do happen for a reason. Like I myself, I say I will not go into TV. I will not go into video production, TV production and all that. But because I have a creative director who wants to hire me, I cannot say no, because it's an opportunity that just happens, right? So yeah, and that's how I learned about branded content. I learned about video production, so that when I went back to do what I'm doing right now, I have the experience. I have the experience to run a live show, like on digital. When I first started, I was pitching digital content, changing television landscape into digital TV. How do you change a 45 minutes Fear Factor show, reality show, into 2 minutes? So that was the challenge back then, and that was 10 years ago. So where are we right now? We are looking at 15 seconds videos, 30 seconds videos, So that's how opportunity happens, and sometimes just trust the process. But do have a focus, know what you want, but don't limit your opportunities. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much, Eileen, for that. I assume there's no other questions. Nobody has said anything or added in the chat since then. Thank you again so much for sharing with us and for giving a bit of the feedback on the breakout room exercise. It's just too bad we couldn't go through all. But everyone, I would like for you to send me what you've done. Go back to the same Padlet and just upload your breakout room files, the ones that you all have worked on. Okay. What else is there? Yeah. yeah, also my class, just stay back. I want to just take attendance and go through some other stuff. Again, thank you, Eileen, for coming, for sharing your wisdom.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Have a
Bye.
good day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, need to leave.
Okay. Let me, she's gone already.